I was taken out by their choice of song to be played as soon as the credits started, which was this lollipop, lollipop, oh,
Mm.
lolly, lolly.
Yeah.
It seemed like an odd, random choice that didn't really fit the theme or anything else. And it's a song that gets stuck in my head and torments me more than the monster in this film.
Oh.
And I'm still playing it in my head right now, and it'll probably be there for 2 or 3 more days, but I can see how they would do something that's opposite,
Yeah.
and in that regard, it still fits because it's so the exact different thing, but it's still, even though in tone it does feel contradictory to everything, it's not enough to be a joke that they would play a lighthearted piece of music like that. So I don't understand why they would choose a song like that. Even the short film did a similar thing.
Mm.
It wasn't that song, but it felt like a style or a fingerprint, a signature of that director that he was trying to create. Or maybe he saw that in a different film and it was more effective. But did you have any reaction to that or confusion when you first heard it?
No, I really didn't think about that too much at all. I can see what you're saying. I tend to like, I don't know, sort of lighthearted, whimsical, ironic songs like that in horror films when it's usually like centered around this dread and this evil. It's, I don't know, almost this mocking sort of a thing. I think they did at the end credits. It was one of the earlier Halloween films. I think it was The Sandman was the song. But yeah, no, I didn't think too much about it. But even if they were, to your point, if they were going to go with something sort of ironic and seemingly innocent, the lyrics don't really fit anything happening in the movie that much. So perhaps there was a better song option that still kind of hit that gleeful, lighthearted feel as the dread begins.
Yeah, The Sandman is a perfect example. It's about dreaming,
Mm-hmm.
and it
Yeah.
fits whatever that movie was about. So anyway, that just felt like a weird thing to do, and I hated it.
That's true. I overall did really like the score in the film since we're talking about music. It had a good intensity and built dread really well and atmosphere. I felt like it was kind of just enough to add to like the chilling kind of feel of everything without being like quite too much. Like there's certain horror films where they have that really intense score where it's almost like a jump scare sort of forcing you in to like feel this. Did you have any particular thoughts on the score?
I thought it felt a little closer to sound design
Mhm.
than score. There wasn't anything like a tune that you could hum. It wasn't that sort of a soundtrack. It was
Yeah.
more atmospheric
Yeah.
and did
More
have those
ominous.
stingers that make you jump and the risers that sort of build the tension. And
Mhm.
I liked it. There were points where intentionally the gain of certain instruments was turned up to the point of distortion. And as
Mhm.
somebody who works in audio, I hear that and
Right.
I think, oh, the gain is too high, it's clipping. But then okay, that's supposed to be that way. It's a stylistic choice,
Yeah.
but it went against my grain as a sound guy. But I liked it. I don't know that I would think of it as something that stands out or will stand up to the test of time, like The Shining or something.
Right.
But
I noticed it more the second time. I don't know if it really hit me, but maybe just because I was reviewing it again and I was like, "Oh, yeah, that really works. That adds a lot of atmosphere and, chilling tension."
in my case, I don't try to be too inventive in terms of sounds.
Mhm.
There are composers that will crawl into a grand piano with a toilet brush and a pair of chopsticks and try to invent some new sound that nobody's ever heard before. And I'm
Yeah.
more like I'd rather just use violins and a piano or whatever and just go with a more limited palette. But this was more inventive and experimental. And even in the end credits, you can hear some of the screams that were happening in the film incorporated into the score as
Mhm.
part of almost the musical palette of it. So it was interesting, it was creative, and it was good. It's not something that I would hire a composer to do for a film of mine, but it's just a personal preference thing.
Yeah. If you'd like to join our society of grotesquerie and loathing, please subscribe and give whatever form of like or approval the platform you are on provides.
Comment your wretched thoughts below, along with what you would like us to expose in future episodes.
Keep our podcast suffering on by finding it in your cold, black, withered hearts to support us on Patreon.
A link to our PayPal is also below for one-time donations of any amount. It was nice knowing you.